Well, hello there, and welcome to the Second Life Book Club. My name is Draxtor Dupre. We have a very special guest today. Well, I say this every week, but this guest is so special that we built from scratch a completely new venue. Actually, Marianne McCann built it. Jules Rivera is here in the house, illustrator, graphic novelist, cartoonist. Actually, I don't know what else she is, and we'll ask her what the proper naming convention is for what she does. Quick few housekeeping notes, and then we'll do a proper introduction. The Second Life Book Club is live every Wednesday, 12 o'clock Pacific time. The Second Life Book Club is produced by Strawberry Linden, who also runs the camera. Brad and Tara Linden are the marketing team. Patch and the Moles, they do security, and well, they keep up the venue. This special venue, as I said, was built by Marion McCann. We have a reading list on bookshop.org. Arduin Schwartzman makes very special props. Matter of fact, he made some special props today, but I'm not going to reveal what they are. Maybe we'll see later. Silas Merlin makes avatars from scratch. Kralos customizes our guest avatars, including Jules's. Oh, we hear strange sounds. Ah, there's some kissing going on in the background. Pay attention, folks. This is a book club after all. We're nerds. The Second Life Book Club is open 24/7. We have about 200 people roaming through here every day. We're booked until December 2021 for the Wednesday shows. If you have a suggestion, please email me, slbookclub@draxtor.com. Let's see if we can squeeze someone in. But I'm not going to hold back. I'm going to start booking 2022. Why not? And now, a warm welcome to our guest, Jules Rivera. Hello, Jules.
Hi, everybody.
How are
Hello. Thank
you?
you for having me here.
Well,
You all have great taste, and you all are ready for the revolution, and I appreciate that. Thank you all so very much.
I pa- I
Woo-la-la-loo,
paid you good money to say
ding-a-ling.
that we all have great taste. I don't know what Warren said. Are you referring to the avatars?
Well, avatars, you all showed up to see me, so that's certainly a step in the right direction. Um, let's see, just so many good things going on here. I like what I see. A
We
lot of good
also have
stuff.
very good taste in chairs, I think, because I brought out these Lovecraftian chairs. They have nothing to do with your work, but I thought they look cool. In terms of your avatar, do you like your avatar at all?
Yeah, my avatar looks great.
Because you actually, and I'm going to bring this up here, maybe we can hold this up in the camera. There's a picture of you in real life here on the table. In real life, and I met you in real life, you really look like this. You have colorful hair, you have tattoos. You look like kind of I mean, usually when we make avatars, we make them from fairly normal looking people, Jules.
I
Let's be
love
honest.
that.
So this was really a challenge to make your avatar looks tamer than you in real life. Was that did you want to have this done like this?
Well, I'm really glad that you that everyone kind of hit the mark and really made my avatar look pretty close to the real life me. Because, I mean, I know everybody. A lot of people come to Second Life to be something completely different than who they are, but I don't know. I like being me. I'm glad that we were able to replicate the me experience in Second Life because that's what makes me special. Meanness.
Right, right. Here she is. I still think that you look that we got you too normal in Second Life. But I'll talk to the avatar creator. Let's throw this out there. Now, Jules,
It's
what do
pretty
you
wild.
actually what are you actually? Because we
What do you
usually
mean? What
have
am I? I'm a child
I
of the stars.
I thought you were a child of the 70s, but that's me. Um,
No,
Jules,
I'm
I
not that
mean,
old.
what are you calling? God, I knew inviting you would cause controversy. I was advised against it. No, but honestly, now seriously, rather, what would you call yourself? Are you an illustrator? Are you a graphic novelist? Are you a you're not an animator, but you are doing many, many different things, and we're going to get to all of them. You're doing a comic strip. You're trying to destroy a comic strip that's been in syndication since 1946, at least according to three disgruntled fans of Mark Trail. But how would you, when I meet you at a party, say to you, what do you do? How would you answer that?
Well, I tell people I'm an illustrator in an effort to make them go away faster because that sounds mean to say,
Really?
but when you say artist, that opens way too many doors for way too many questions. Like, oh, and what do you do? And they're all stupid questions too. They're all like, oh, you're an artist, so you draw on the computer. And I'm like, oh, God, why anything? I hate everything. They do comic strips like in the newspaper now. I haven't actually gone to any parties since the Mark Trail announcement, so at least I've been spared that foolery. But I guess eventually when things sort of come out of pandemic-ness, I suppose I'll have to hear all that stuff too. But yeah, people when they hear I'm an artist, they all say the same stupid things, and I don't want to deal with it. So if I say illustrator, it kind of throws them off track. They're like, "Oh, what is that?" Makes them sound clinical. Oh, and now I just
Mhm.
tell people, "Well, I'm a nature illustrator." Yes, they don't ask any questions. It's great.
But do they feel when you're an artist, would they say, because we talked about this off the air before, I was talking about my high school reunion, and when people go, oh, Drax is still an artist, oh my God, and we're also, we're all in management, and we have these boring lives, and he does everything, he just does whatever he wants to do. Is it that kind of thing that annoys you too, that people immediately, I don't know, assume that you have this incredible freedom? And we're going to talk about where you actually came from, because you made some really bold choices. I mean, at least from my perspective, from your sort of day job and quit that and stuff. But what I want to get more specific at, what annoys you when people ask follow-up questions about artistry. Is it that reference and like, oh my God, this is so cool what you do, or what's the annoying part?
The annoying part is that, unfortunately, um, art education in America gets slashed to ribbons, and therefore most people don't have anything smart to say when it comes to art, right? Like if you tell someone I'm a doctor, you don't hear a bunch of people saying, "Hey, will you operate on me for free?" Like nobody says that to a doctor.
Well, I did say
Guy
that
who's
to
a
a friend who
doctor
is a
gets
dentist.
respect. I don't
I
get no respect. I just get a bunch of clowns expecting me to entertain them. And I'm like, I will entertain you from the safety of my apartment in my little hovel that I have here, but I'm not going to do that clown crap with you in person. No. No, it's very, and also it's because I sometimes have to interact with a lot of people who are not in the creative industry,
Mhm.
and that gets tricky because even those people can get, they mean well, but their experience with art and commercial art and creating stuff for commercial consumption is pretty limited. So yeah, I just kind of like to throw them off the trail. Like less words, unless they're actually people in the industry. Then I mean, I still say illustrator because I cover so much ground. I'm a
Mhm.
storyboard artist. Yeah, I'm a storyboard artist. I'm a graphic novelist because I do
Stella in
illustrate a
the
graphic
chat says
novel.
visual storyteller. I think that's good too. But I guess also what I'm hearing, I think
Stupid people won't get visual storyteller. I'm sorry. I probably should have said that, but like,
yeah.
no, it's true. Stupid people go, "What is that, you ed?" I used to say I'm a sequential illustrator.
A
Ugh.
what?
Nosebleeds
A
forever.
sequential illustrator.
Yes,
That is
which actually
interesting.
I feel like that's probably the most accurate way to describe it. I'm a sequential illustrator.
Okay,
Okay.
so let's look at some sequential illustrating, because I'm a huge fan
Okay,
of your
class.
of your Love Jules cartoon. I mean, I'm a fairly recent fan. I treat the Love Jules books, and they're here on the table, by the way. There are two of them, Manic Pixie, Nightmare Girls, and Tidal Wave Queen. I treat them as the Bible, in the sense that when I wake up in the morning, I randomly open a page and I look at a comic strip. And I threw one up here. The in-world audience can see that, as can the streaming audience. This is called Bitch Pics, and it's hilarious. I'm just gonna read it because we're gonna release this as a audio only podcast. So there's these two dudes in the lunchroom, and the one dude says, "Hey, are you okay? You got really weird during the meeting." The other guy looks at his phone and says, "It's awful. Some evil girl sent me a bitch pic." And then there's you on the phone looking somewhat annoyed. And the dudes say, "Oh my God, that's disgusting." The other dude says, "Can you believe it? It's a photo of her resting bitch face." And then the dudes keep going in panel three. "Yeah, and I got this right in the middle of the meeting. What if one of the bosses saw? So gross. I can't believe women are allowed to send photos like this. Another one's coming in." And there you are again on the phone. And one of the dudes is saying, "This one is even worse. It's a live photo, and she's shaking her head at me. I hate getting bitch pics. I feel so attacked." I mean, we don't have to belabor the point what this is in reference to, but
Oh
Jules,
man.
I love this, so much, and I have the physical books. You can buy those physical books. Can you tell folks how did you start with this cartoon? And you're now doing the Mark Trail thing. I don't know if you can keep this going. Probably not. But this was a daily. Was this a daily strip on your social media? I mean, it's amazing. It amazes me that people can churn out stuff this routinely at this high quality. But tell us, how did you start with this thing?
Okay, first of all, the word "was" needs to get out of your vocabulary right this second, mister. I'm just a little bit
Yes.
slowed down because I'm currently juggling launching a whole new comic strip for King Features with teaching as a professor, which that's now thankfully winding down. But I've had to juggle a lot of responsibilities, and unfortunately, the Jules doesn't really pay the bills per se. So that has kind of just gone on a quiet little hiatus until I can get caught up with everything. But I'm almost done teaching for the semester. So once I get done with that, Jewel, we're gonna see the comeback. The big old comeback. So what Love Jules is, it just kind of started off as a way of me just blowing off steam in the things I would see in the world, and I kind of wanted a me flavored thing out there, and this just kind of started as me spitballing ideas with friends on Twitter. We were like the very first Love Jewel strip that I did was something called it was just talking about emotional abusers, and in that cartoon strip, I just draw this really crappy emotionally abusive person is like, you have to change and be perfect for me. You're really negative, and then I just kicked the vampire dude off a cliff, and I'm like, oh, I got rid of you. I feel less negative already. I probably didn't sell the punchline nearly as well as the comic did, but anyway, I just noticed that it was nice to just be able to talk about the stuff that was in my head so directly because
Hmm.
in the past I've always done long form graphic novels and long form comics and colored other people's work and stuff, and it was very I never really made the chance for myself to appear, well, maybe not appear, but made the chance for myself to just really say the stuff that was on my mind in a visual way. And that's how Love Jules kind of came about. I was like, you know what? I'm just making a dumb comic. I'm just gonna say crap a couple times a week and whatever. Um,
But you
and
just put this out on social media, and let me just say for context, Jules, I don't know if I was misunderstood here. I in no means would I was trying to pay you a backhanded compliment in the German way. I know we have these communication issues. I mean, you're a fiery Latina, and I'm a very cold, melancholic German machine. So I was actually trying to compliment you for the fact that you put out a strip with this type of quality, with this type of insight and hilarity, while you're doing teaching and while you're doing all this other stuff, and especially now with the Mark Trail comic that we're going to be talking about. So I didn't mean to uh, go to you as a needy fan, go like, "Jules, where is the new cartoon? You didn't release anything for a week. What's happening? Why are
no,
you
but I
punishing
expect
me?"
that now.
Do you have
Fans
fans
are
like that?
just
That's
readers
fans
are
are like
well,
that, right?
not Love Jules fans. Love Jules fans, see, because I never announced an official update schedule for Love Jules, so it just kind of floats in and out of the ether. People just see it and appreciate it, and then it comes back, and then it goes away, and it comes back. But I've just been, overcoming this particular hurdle of a time, and Also, it's worth noting I live in the United States and everything has been on fire. Trying to draw a Mark Trail bundle of comics during the week of the freaking 2020 election was an absolute nightmare, and I never want to do it
Yeah.
again. Just so hard to do anything emotionally. Oh God, it was a mess.
Well,
So anyway,
let's. Sorry, Jules, I'm going to jump in here because I put up another slide in the back here from the Love Jules cartoon, and you did this not on a daily basis, but a couple of times, and on social media,
yeah,
and you're selling these books, and you have a Patreon campaign too. This strip that I just put up here is called Intellectual, where you
intellectual.
intellectual, sorry, intellectual, yes.
That's the joke.
Oh my God. Oh, this is so multi-layered, Jules. I don't even know where to begin. But so
There's a lot of stuff going on.
you're sitting here with a dude whose head is bandaged. And he says, I'm a software developer. It's hard to find the right woman. They just don't understand
Ugh.
me. I guess I'm too intellectual. And you say, oh, honey, that's not true at all. You are not smart. And then he says, what? How dare you? I am smart. And then you say, who told you you're smart? What kind of smart dude alienates his target market by saying he's too intellectual for them? That is not smart. And then the guy goes, what am I supposed to do? Hot girls don't want to talk about science, and science girls aren't hot. And then you say, so your plan is to insult all women until you die alone or go on a shooting spree? And he goes, I don't have to take this. And then there is a conclusion here with, I think this is some sort of celebrity, this guy? I
See,
don't
it's
know.
a
I don't
little
watch TV.
awkward because you're actually coming on the third strip of an arc.
Yeah.
This is like the literally the only continuity arc that I did in Love Jules. But
Oh, yeah?
basically, the guy's confusing a Korean guy for a Chinese guy. So that's what it comes down to. So I mean, what it comes down to is tech bros have ruined a lot of things,
That's
and
one
I
of
would
your
like.
big themes. Yes, yes, go ahead.
Yes, I
Tech
got
bros.
sold on a bill of goods that the tech bros were going to save us all. And no, they just wanted to save themselves and just do the exact same garbage to us that their dads did, except in hoodies. That's about the size of it. In hoodies with way less push-ups. And I'm like, wow, so you want to take over the world with your amazing intelligence and you know these guys have really nasty attitudes towards women because they don't have any freaking social skills when it comes to women, right? I mean, like if they just, I'm just like, talk to women as friends, just talk to women as people. Like, yo, what's up? You got plants? Let's talk about plants. I mean, yeah, like I have a lot of frustrations that I vent about tech bros. I have another
Not
strip
only
that's
tech
somewhere in here.
bros, also fans, nerdy fans of popular culture. You call them neckbeards, I think. Did you come
Well,
up with
not
that
all.
term?
Okay. That is a very specific culture reference. Okay, so to fill
Uh-huh.
in my European listeners, a neck beard is a very specific type of kind of abusive fan here in the United States, especially fans of like pop culture and comics and stuff. And oftentimes they fit this visual stereotype of a guy with a beard on his neck,
Hmm.
and we call that a neck beard. A lot of times they're also pictured with a fedora. It's just their weird little stereotype. I don't know. I didn't make these guys. They did. So, yeah, a neckbeard is like an abusive super fan who wants everything to be all about him, and it's not all about him. And I feel like this is kind of the conversation I have with fandom. See, it's no problem. See, I'm happy to inform the audience. The chat people are like, never heard of this thing. Well, I'm happy to
I
educate.
actually did hear about. I heard about it, and I was actually aware. As a European, I was aware what it was. Uh, AJ says in the chat, she says, I mean, she's not wrong in terms of how you just classify tech bros. I mean, you probably read it. I just wanted to make sure that you have a lot of understanding female audience members here. How about the males? Do the males feel upset? I certainly don't. I think it's absolutely spot on. I brought on another strip here in the background where there is a character, this Blackbird character,
Yeah.
which is great. So, what is the Blackbird character? Is this sort of your your interior dialogue, your other side that manifests itself, this blackbird, when you want to kind of discuss an issue where you are not sure which side you're on yourself? Is that when you bring him in?
Well, see, Blackbird can be a couple of things. Yeah, sometimes he is my other the other half of my psyche, and I'm just having conversations with myself. And this would be a case of if Garfield minus Garfield would have John Arbuckle screaming at himself. Well, if you took away Blackbird, I would just be screaming at myself. So anyway, but Blackbird can also be a stand-in for friends when I have conversations with people. Like, I don't want to put people on blast when we talk about controversial stuff, so I'll just cover them up with a bird. So it's like,
Mhm.
whatever, you put a bird on it, it's fine.
I'm going
Um,
to throw up a slide here that says resignation, where you are on some sort of missile. You're sitting on a missile,
oh, he's the
and
global hawk.
yeah, and you have, oh, I don't, I'm not into weapons manufacturing, but you were, Jules. This
Yeah.
is like a tell-all. This is like 60 Minutes with
Oh,
Jules Rivera. You once built bombs that killed babies. How do you plead? No, but
they didn't let
seriously.
me near all the important
Okay.
stuff. They just hired me for diversity points. The people who built the baby killing bombs are way higher up the food chain.
Okay, let's start sequentially, since you're a sequential artist. What I want to get here, you to tell the story about moving from your day job, which was with Northrop Grumman, and how did you make this decision to go to be a full-time artist, which is a big leap, because you have an engineering degree and then you worked over there, and then it didn't really pan out. Some terrible office politics that are way too common, and then you took this plunge into becoming a full-time artist. How did that? Because those are the type of journeys that are really hopefully empowering for folks, and maybe also a little bit so little bit sobering, because I guess you know um, the insecurities of a artist, of a full-time artist, may not be for everyone. But how did this go, your journey from weapons manufacturer to cartoonist?
Well, pretty easy. The choice made me, but also what I didn't specify in the story of me working at Northrop was that I had been a comics artist the entire time.
Hmm.
I had been drawing my own web comics since I was about 16 or 17. And it wasn't until I went to an independent book show where I saw people making their own graphic novels where I realized, holy snap, you can just make your own graphic novel and like you don't have to go through a whole team of people. You can just do the thing. So yeah, I learned you could just do the thing. And I had started doing the thing when I was in college. But at the time I treated it like it was just a hobby. I was like, whatever, this is just a thing I do on the side for funsies. There's nothing incredibly overarching and and incredibly um I guess soul shattering about this little webcomic hobby of mine. So it wasn't until I got to
Wait a
about
minute.
my
Where are these old web comics? Did you extinguish them from the web? Are you
oh, they're gone.
embarrassed by
Oh
them?
gosh, I don't even
Yeah.
know where they are. We're talking. I mean, we're talking comics from all the way back in like 2002. Like, bro, that was 18 years ago. I don't know what the hell happened to those files. They were not good. Okay, it's safe to say you're all about. Oh my god, let me see your old art style stuff, and I'm like, no, it's garbage. Do
Right,
not
because
look
I
at it.
pushed you. So but this is interesting. Do you because I did ask you, show me the early days. We want to really have this whole arc of yours from crappy artists, but you don't you I mean, you're fine with saying, this is stuff that was garbage and now I'm this other person, or because some people um like to keep absolutely everything, their own archive, as if they're their own archivist, and they like to display that, or at least play. I mean, I know a lot of people who play with this idea of somebody asking them to uh, unearth what they doodled as a baby, pretty much. I mean, there's a certain amount of narcissism involved, but I gather you're not like that. You're
There's a
fine with. Yeah?
strange there's a strange expectation that people expect artists to store all their work and then
Hmm.
like all their work after they're done with it. Because honestly, a lot of the old work that I've done, I don't really like it and I don't feel the need to show it again. I was like, okay, I showed it back then, but I've done better work now. And eclipses that old crappy thing. Let's just move on with our lives. I'm always about moving forward. I'm
Hmm.
not a steward of the past. I'm a steward of the future. I became a freaking engineer because I believed in science. Come on.
Hmm.
So I store my art like going back maybe I want to say 10ish years, but even then, like the actual finished PDFs and stuff, I don't know. I haven't really released a lot of the really, really old stuff. A lot of the stuff after my very first webcomic, Marsh Rocket, which hilariously enough has filtered his way into Mark Trail. I hate that about
Hmm.
myself. I hate everything. Like bad Jules. Why did you let your stupid webcomic guy infect your new job? Um
Well, we'll get to Mark Trail. We'll get to Mark Trail. But so you quit your job, and then you also this is stuff that you talk about on Love Jules. Love Jules is really has these all these themes. You talk about your divorce. You talk about dating. You talk about Florida. You talk about
uh-huh.
being a Latina. We already covered nerds and neckbeards. Yeah, someone in
I
the chat
I
said
just want
earlier
to
it's like
say
the comic book guy. Go ahead.
let me just jump in and say I don't hate nerds, okay? I don't hate tech bros. I hate the selfishness, but I don't hate them. I believe they can be redeemed if they just stop being such navel gazers, okay? They're just people in transition like the rest of us. Okay, just wanted to jump in there and say that.
No, and that becomes very clear. I mean, here I threw up another comic where Blackbeard is talking to you. You make fun of LA style, infatuation with crystals and certain esoteric means of self improvement, I guess.
Yeah, crystal
And
weirdos.
yeah, but you poke fun at yourself here too that you also sort of drank the LA Kool-Aid. So
I did.
the comics are very, very self-reflective and open like that. So yeah, you
It's
do.
really like just so I mean, it really is the true meaning of slice of life. Like you get a little piece of my life and in these little silly stories that I have to tell. And I feel like once I get my freedom week after next, I can finally get back to drawing Love Jules comics again. I'm like, oh, I'm so pumped for it, so ready for it. Um, Once I get my freedom, you'll get even more slices into my life and way more gardening tips. Oh snap, more of that. But yeah, I feel like you if you want to like sometimes it's easier for me to make a comic about something rather than as a shorthand. And if somebody says, "Oh my gosh, blah blah, blah crystal weirdos," I can just refer to the comic and go, "Yeah, that thing. That's
Mhm.
what I said about that."
Refer to your work. That's yeah. I like to
It's
do that too.
easier. I mean, real talk. Sometimes during dating, now dating gets hella tricky when you are an author because, or at
Hmm.
least in my case, I'm really nervous about dating people who would be threatened by the idea that I would be this really, I hesitate to say powerful woman, but yeah, no, I would be the more powerful woman. I mean, I have a steady salary, I've got my own apartment, I've got my own car, I've got my own resources. Like, I'm pretty good. Um, and there are a
That's
lot of,
actually I'm gonna throw up this one here because this deals with that. Uh, this deals with that. It's called Angry Woman. But you keep saying that when you're free again. What are you referring to? You feel not free with the Mark Trail gig, which we still have to talk about. We haven't even touched on that subject.
oh, not even in the least. No, I love Mark Trail. It's just I just need to get done with teaching for right now. I love
Ah,
my
teaching.
students, but it eats up my mental bandwidth. That's all.
Yeah, I
Like
can
it's just
realize
it's
that.
just one of those things, a work coinciding thing that is inconvenient. It's like I love
Right.
what I do. It's just it eats up a lot of my time and energy.
The people in world can see this one angry woman. A classic derailing tactic people like to use on women of color is to accuse us of being angry and therefore irrational and dangerous. Here the guy says, "Lady, you need to watch your tone." And you're thinking you're stupid. And then you're saying, "I have an idea I'd like to try. I love to patronize the living shit out of whoever does this to me next." And then you say, you run up to the guy, you say, "Oh, my stars, I was so careless with my energy. Are you okay? Did I hurt your head? Where's the boo boo?" Kiss it. And then you just throw yourself at him. Uh, this is one of the recurring themes is that the power the powerful woman that is threatening to men. You were just talking about dating in the dating game, dating an artist, but I guess here specifically dating a successful artist, successful in the sense that you have a steady gig and that you have a certain um, fan base and you're a public figure in that regard. Is that really a big deal breaker for dating?
I feel like it separates the wheat from the chaff, right? Um, Now, when people find out about what I'm about, they they're either in or they're out. They're like, oh no, that's too big for me. But actually, I feel like most of the people I see nowadays, I kind of meet people. I have people in my social circles who just kind of bubble up and come around and say hi and stuff, and things happen as nature kind of takes its course. So don't cry for me, Argentina. My dating life is completely fine. Um,
Good. So
and
we
also,
checked that off. I don't want to spend too much time on your dating
oh
life.
yeah, no, in
But my
fact, that's
producer
another
said I
thing I
should.
wanted to talk about with the upcoming comic strips is how dating has changed in the pandemic, and where my values are in terms
Hmm.
of what I want going forward. Because I feel like I don't know if I could do like a whole ass relationship where like you have to meet their parents and like and no, I don't feel like I could do all that. Like, I'm not taking to the airport, homie, but can you send me pictures of yourself pantsless? Thank you. That would be great. Like, I have lowered expectations, but I feel like my life is happier for it. Maybe not lowered, but like realistic, because you have to be able to read the room, because dating is actually very, very hard on economically depressed people. And
Hmm.
we're not just economically depressed, we're all of the ways a human being can be depressed right now. And
Hmm.
I feel like the environment for that has just it stressed people out, really. It's bad. Oh, it's bad out there. And I feel like I have a lot of compassion going forward. But yeah, it's messy.
I usually actually start with that question: How are you dealing with the pandemic situation and still having to be creative? I mean, having to produce. It's not. The artist life is not just like, hey, let's sit around and smoke a little weed and then see where inspiration hits us. We talk about this every week. There is a grind to
No, it's more
this.
like smoke a little weed and get back to work. Get back to
Hmm.
deadlines, you clown.
Hmm. Can you sort of suppress the anxiety? Can you harness it, something from it, for your creative work?
I try to do a lot of push-ups, shoulder taps, a lot of surf training. Yeah, I mean, I live in California in the valley, and I take advantage of that. It's true. um, but most of the time, I just try to keep it together with just staying in touch with friends and making sure I get in a proper enough sunshine when I go outside and stuff. Like just juggling all the things. It's hard, but people manage to do it. It's fine.
So what's the Mark Trail? Actually, I want to hold this into the camera. There's here on the table, you have a work in progress. Let's hold this into the camera and bring it up here. This is how you outline. You supplied this to us. This is a Love Jules cartoon, and you outline this with pencil. So you don't, like you said earlier, you're working on the computer, but do
On
you
the
actually
computer.
work? Is this done on the computer or is this done with actual pencil? You still work with pencils, or
I sometimes work with pencils depending on what kind of a final product I want. like if I'm doing a commission for somebody, it makes so much more sense to just do a physical product, with marker ink or with watercolors, possibly even
Hmm.
gouache. I love playing with natural media. It's just that for the purposes of cranking out digital products as fast as I have to do them, yeah, a lot of times it's just faster to already do it on the computer. It saves you the step of scanning.
Right. The final delivery. How much? Let's go to Mark Trail then. How long do you have? Is Mark Trail a daily gig? And here, if the camera could pan in, we have it here on the table. And in a little while, we're going to walk around this wonderful gallery. Um, and look at stuff. Mark Trail is a comic that's been in syndication since 1946. It was created originally by Ed Dodd, and it has environmental themes. I'm going to bring up here one little bigger. How and you took this over, which is, I mean, congratulations. This is a pretty big deal. How long? How often do you have to produce these?
I got to do it every week. I have to do 6 daily strips and the Sunday
Man,
strip.
so the daily
Now
strips,
you
how many
see why I've
panels?
been I've been in the doldrums. Now you
Right,
get
and
it.
I call you every day and say, "Hey, can you scan some of the stuff that you did as when you were 12?" And you go, "Shut up."
I try to be as gracious as possible, Drax. You've always been very kind to me. But yeah, when you get a bit much, I'm just like, okay, time to take a distant break. Kind of, let's go have a cup of tea. Don't scream at people, Jules.
I'm gonna bring this. Actually, I could just bring this up here. Here, this is a original strip. Now, when you say a daily strip, how many panels are these? What kind of format does this follow? I mean, folks really need to kind of understand this. A daily strip is, I mean, that is a big deal. I don't know what the format is, or if you have to, if it always has to be like a punch line there. Tell us a little bit about this. How many panels does the daily strip require? Is there
Okay,
a
so the daily
theme?
strips. Okay, so the way Mark Trail works is that what he's most known for is the Science Sundays. Actually, I coined the name Science Sundays. I don't know why nobody else did. That seems like such an obvious name. I'm like,
Mm,
Science Sunday, you guys. So, the Science Sundays are what Mark Trail is most known for, where he goes into, talking about an animal in nature that you otherwise would not have known about had you not read this comic strip. Like, for a while, Mark Trail filled in the gap that was like Mutual of Omaha or National Geographic or, the David Attenborough documentaries, where it would actually, be people's way of seeing, wildlife photography and wild animals, in the newspaper pages. So, um, the daily strip is actually the main plot that follows Mark Trail.
hmm.
Mark gets into adventures. He explodes boats and he fights environmental bad guys for the sake of justice.
Mm.
And the daily strips I don't have to color, but I do oversee the coloring correction. So I'm basically coloring them. Yeah, I just talk myself to all the jobs. But to be fair, I it's really hard to let my colorist into my brain.
Hmm.
That's a lot of boundaries there. Like, so I figured it was just more humane to just do a notes pass after she turns the thing into me and she hands it to me. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna change 80% of that. Thanks. Like, I hope she doesn't take that personally. It's
But
just I have a very
hold
specific vision.
hold on, Jules. So what we're seeing right now here, this is in the back here is a cartoon by James Allen. This is one, two, three, four, five, six panels. And you already mentioned it is it there is a environmental educational aspect to this, at least in the early ones. But I'm now going to change this to one that you did for today, and that has only three panels or four panels. So I don't is are these then going to be serialized? So you have to check in the day after that to is there some sort of conclusion to them?
Well, yeah, that's the idea. So the story strips run between 2 and 4 panels. Although I don't think I've ever written anything that was less than 3 panels. because that's a waste of everyone's time. Why would you only have a comic strip with 2 panels in it? The hell is going on there? So yeah, the main plot line is carried on these daily strips that are between 3 and 4 panels, and the way I write them, there's always kind of some kind of thing at the end where it's not necessarily a ha-ha punchline, because I think that's very limiting. If you only make people feel ha-ha funny, then that's just such a limited experience. I want people to feel all kinds of different stuff from Mark Trail, because Mark Trail does tackle some really important environmental stuff. The very first storyline we have is going into farm abuse and fertilizer runoff in Florida, which
Hmm.
sounds like it's not that big of a deal until you see algae plumes all over the ponds around you. Like, it is a big deal. I've seen it. I've lived it. It's not good. And so that means sometimes strips end on a really gnarly note. They end up on a very sour, hard-hitting note, because that's the emotional journey that we all have to take in order to protect our world.
I want to the cameras on the big strip for today, which is there's also some sort of strange, well, it's alluding to some maybe family issues, possibly. And let me change it. Let's go back real quick because I just found the original. This is a very old one that I found online by the original creator, Ed Dodd. And this is called Trailways. And this is basically talking about the warthog. And as you mentioned, this is, educational uh, information about this particular animal. And then when we go to some of the people that have followed in the footsteps of the original creator, there is some interesting weirdness that I detected and that I can also see in you. So I'm throwing one up that's by James Allen, where there's 3 strips, and the girl says, "I love these personal stories about your family, Rusty." The middle panel says, "Growing up in a wooded area has been a lot of fun." And then the father says, "Are we heading back to the hotel soon?" So is
I can't comment on James's writing style. He made those decisions.
Was
I'm
he
sure
more
he was going
controversial than
somewhere.
you? Because you are controversial. I don't know how controversial you are, but there are fans of this cartoon that have sent you, I guess, hate mail or
Just
concern.
hate mail, like really
Yeah.
mostly grumble mail. It's actually probably safer to call it grumble mail, because true hate mail would have all the racial slurs in it, and nobody's threatened to like murder or rape me. So I'm like, yeah, this is just grumbling old people mad that I've disrupted their morning routine. So, I've gotten a bit of grumble mail, but it's to be expected. And all of the artists have faced, well, I guess except for Ed Dodd, because he was the first one. But Jack and James, I'm sure, faced their share of audience grumbling when it came to the big changeover. Um, and people get used to certain things. James Allen wrote for Mark Trail for 6 years, so that's enough time for people to formulate a habit and formulate a relationship to how these artists approach doing these characters. So it makes sense to me that they'd get attached.
Hmm. But again, and now I'm going to go back to yours for today. How do you approach this? So you have a character Bible, right? I'm assuming you have some sort of background information on all these characters. And do you have then any guidance in terms of, you know, points that you have to weave in there? Educational points about a natural issue of nature or ecological issue, right? So the question is, do you have to tick off these boxes, or do you get a directive of specific issues that need to be tackled?
We'll
How does that work?
Well, see, I formulate the directive myself by picking the location
Hmm.
of where the Mark Trail storyline takes place. And here's the thing: when I was talking with editorial, we had thought, you know, where I had bounced the idea to them that it would be a really cool idea if maybe the nature strips tied into the plot a little bit. really just tangentially, like, we can show Mark going on a little adventure and then coming back, and it shows that he was actually shooting the video for that nature strip. I love how that slide has not loaded up on my computer, so it looks like I've made some terribly pornographic thing back there. Um,
We see it. We all see it. It's here. Rusty, are you
Whatever it
getting?
is, I hope it's nasty.
The
Um,
mother says, Rusty, are you getting back packed for the trip? Hang on, Mom. Andy's trying to eat my flip flops. Ah, almost got him. No, these were the only flip flops that fit in my pockets. My feet will fry in the water park lines without them. It's fine, says the mother will get you new ones. And then the boy says, I wish Pops could come with us. He could hold my flip flops while I get on the slides. And the mother says, sorry, Russ, your poppy has to stay here and take care of the animals. And she looks very sad. I mean, what does this
yeah.
mean? What's
Oh,
going on?
it means come back tomorrow because you are about to get some tea. Okay, so the grandpa, Doc, he is going to be staying behind while the family takes a little trip to Florida. So I didn't finish this with the nature strips earlier, the explanation of the nature strips. But if they connect it to the plot, then that means they have to be physically where the plot is, and in this case, the nature strips are going to Florida. Although
Mhm.
this week coming up is not specific to Florida, it's actually a little bit more of a Lost Forest specific kind of thing. But it was cute and fun. I wanted to change things up a bit. It's going to be a lot of fun.
But my
Um,
question is this serialized? I mean, is this to be continued?
yes, absolutely.
Ah, now I
Because the
understand.
way she's looking at the very end in the last panel, the way Cherry's kind of looking off screen, it tells us that more is coming because she's looking
Ah,
forward. She's not looking back at Rusty. She's looking over there going, oh, there's some stuff over there I got to address. And yeah, we're going to start
ah.
finding out some stuff about Cherry's backstory. And Cherry
Oh,
has
see,
a
now
very,
I understand, Professor Rivera. You are a good
yes,
teacher. Now I understand the nature of daily comic strips. But how long
now
is the
you get
arc?
it.
How long is that arc that you have to compose? Is it
Oh, well, presently
a
the arc
week
that
or?
I'm composing is about 17 to 18 weeks long, and I'm about halfway
Ah,
through.
okay, cool. I mean,
But
this
yeah,
this
I mean, the
sounds
way
like
I
a lot
see
of fun.
content is
Mhm.
content, just pack it to the gills, and it's going to be a good storyline. Oh,
No,
if
I
you
mean
love
this is
speedboat chases, it's happening. We're going to Florida. Of course, they're going to be speedboats.
yes, and there's Florida men who are totally crazy. Um, I
Yes.
forgot to remind folks if they're just tuning in, you're listening to or you're watching the Second Life Book Club with Jules Rivera, graphic novelist or sequential illustrator. Um, Sorry, she's not an artist because she doesn't like to engage in that kind of conversation. On YouTube, somebody
Just
says,
show me pictures of your cats. Why is this hard?
in
Why do we have to
YouTube,
talk about jobs all the time? Just show me a picture of a cat that's cute.
somebody says the Tech Bro comic from earlier is a little bit ironic, isn't it? I guess so. That's kind
What do you
of
mean
a
ironic? I don't
yeah,
understand the irony. He's a
yeah.
douchebag to everybody. That's the point. There's no irony in there. No. The irony
Before
is if the tech bro had managed to alienate his way into more friends. That would be ironic.
I would suggest that we're going to stand up now and we're going to do a little bit walk and talk,
Oh
which we
boy.
can here in Second Life
Here
because
we go.
here we go. You can do this, Jules,
We can do it.
because
All right,
we're
look, I
here in
stood up all by myself. I'm very proud of myself.
all by myself. Very good. Now follow me because we're here in a wonderful gallery that was made by Jules Rivera, and they actually have comic strips on the wall. So why don't we just start over here
Hang on, let
and
me just not
take your
try
time
to.
and
Because what
folks
I'm
can
trying to
follow
do
us.
is not go spinning around too hard. Oh, where the heck are you? Lost you. All right, I'm just
Here
gonna
we're
start
walking
walking.
in the corner here. There is a painting of you, a very, very angry painting with a lot of fire behind you. And it says Apocalypse Garden. And
Yeah.
this is Apocalypse Garden. This is kind of like this work in progress that you sent me, which is very cool. I think I should hold this up into the camera again. Apocalypse Garden. Let's see. Did you find your way?
Nope. I'll make it there. I'm listening. So Apocalypse Garden, that's actually the that's actually the title of my next Love Jules collection. Um
Ah,
yeah. Oh, there you are. Okay. So there's me. All right, let me just I swear I'm gonna get there. Oh no, there's everyone. Okay. I think I could do it. No, I'm not. Never mind. Okay. It's a collection. It's basically what I had to do and what I had to pivot to for the purposes of the pandemic, right?
right.
Um, Apocalypse Garden is here. Let me freaking fix this. I can't see where the hell I'm going. Okay. Oh, that helps a
Ah.
lot. Okay. Because I had to put the camera over behind me.
Hit the escape and then the camera is behind you again.
Yeah. Okay.
You're
Cool.
good.
Okay. So here's a whole bunch of peoples. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Also
I,
follow the
I'm almost
crowd. Follow
there.
the crowd. And uh actually I'm going to bring up this work in progress strip that you sent earlier. Oops, I just shifted the entire building. See, this is what I love about live shows. Oh my God, I wanted to bring in your comic. So Apocalypse Garden is the next Love Jules. You have enough material to bring out a completely new one.
Oh heck no, no. That's what I'm gonna probably spend all of December getting caught up on. All the strips I should have been doing these last few months, but couldn't because the entire world around me was bursting into flames. So Apocalypse Garden is the name for my garden, basically. I and you'll see that in the sample strip.
Here's the
Apocalypse
sample
Garden.
strip. Yeah.
But basically, it's the garden that I'm growing to keep my sanity in the midst of all of the crazy things going outside in the world, especially in America, where everything is crazy. And the crazy, even when we try to stop the crazy, it's not really stopping the crazy. And I'm like, great, I love it. No, I don't.
You're talking with Blackbird again, and you say, Jules, you got to start making comics about your garden. And you say, nobody cares about my dumb garden. And he says, in the 1940s, people created victory gardens. So in the 2020s, you can grow an apocalypse garden. And you say, can you fend off a whole apocalypse with a garden? And Blackbird says, if you can grow a garden that fends off Nazis, anything is possible. So really, really cool. And oh my God, we're running out of time so badly. I mean, this gallery is going to be around. We're not going to dismantle this gallery, so this gallery will stay here. Let's walk past these Love Jewels cartoons because we talked about Love Jewels. Let's walk to the other side of the gallery, if you indulge me, please. And the other side here actually has Mark Trail. And here you can see Mark Trail. This is the announcement image that I've seen in the news. Mark Trail, basically a selfie with his family here in nature. And Jules, do you have handy a quote
Sorry,
of
sorry, I'm running into people. I'm so sorry.
no, run into people. Don't worry about it. Run
I'm
into
trying
people.
so
That's
hard.
the
My computer's
fun.
so slow. This is so bad. Okay. Okay. I'm there. I'm almost at the thing. Okay. I think I'm here. No, I'm
You're the
not.
most proficient.
Yes, yes,
You're
I
the
am.
most.
Okay.
See, you didn't even fall off the stage. This is a first. Usually we have people fall off the stage. Now with Mark Trail again, I was joking around a little bit, and you said hate mail. There were no death threats, but what were some of the messages that you got when you got the gig of continuing Mark Trail? And you're active on Twitter. You published a few of those.
Yeah.
Um, do you remember like what was hilarious? Give me a hilarious one and give me one that was borderline scary. Like, we know where you surf. I don't know, something like that.
Well,
Did
that's the
that ever
great
occur?
thing. I have not gotten any hate mail that would say things like, we know where you serve. It's just old people who are mad and grumbling about. Okay, one thing they really get mad about is the fact that Mark Trail has stubble. They're really mad about that.
Really?
Um, yes, they're mad that his shirt is untucked because that is a kind of a dog whistle to communism. And I'm like, what?
Oh
What
my
kind of
God.
Kool Aid have you been served? You are out of your mind. Um, they don't like the new art style in general. They think Mark is depicted as a wimp because I bother to show him having emotions. Um, let's see, what else do people hate? It's I don't know. They
Do they
oh, they don't
literally
like the way
say that
Sherry
you?
is drawn. They just don't like
Wait,
the
is
way
that
I
the
do
wife?
things.
Mm. But do they say things? Do they say that you are destroying it, or how do
Yeah.
they phrase it? I mean, is it sort of respectful in the sense, dear Jules Rivera, I object to following points 1, 2, 3. Please take them into consideration. Good luck. Or are they saying
It,
you're destroying a cultural institution?
a little of both. I do get a lot of people who are respectful saying, "Hey, I see what you're doing. Hate it thoroughly. I'm never coming back to read it again, and I'm not going to follow your work." And I'm like, "Great, thank you for taking time out of your day to type that out and send that to me," which tells me, yeah, you're not going to quit me as fast as you think you are. Because that's the interesting thing. I'll have fans come back day in and day out going, I hate this thing. I don't like it. I hate it. This is
I'm
garbage.
gonna walk over.
And I'm
I'm gonna
like,
walk over
see you
to.
tomorrow.
Sorry, I
I
was
don't
jumping
like the
on you there.
thing.
Sorry, Jules, we do have some lag. I was jumping on you. I apologize. I'm standing in front of the panel where you. I think this may be your. Is this your first one where it's a mashup? Mark Trail and Love Jules. This is a Love
I
Jules. Hey,
It is a
how
love jewels. It
who
is.
are you and what are you doing on my property? Mark Trail runs into this garden and you say, "Oh, hi Mark, I'm your dad now." And Mark Trail says, "What? How? You're not?" And you say, "It's the magic of the dad sweater, Mark. Embrace it." "But he says, and you say, "Stop questioning. You're about to inherit my top dog energy and stunning good looks." And he says, "Holy smokes. I feel so angular and hot." "You got good genes, boy. You're welcome. Now let's get to work on the garden, son. I'm Mark Trail's dad now." This is just awesome.
I wanted a really fun way to announce that I was taking over Mark Trail in a way that would just made it really cute and fun and not like I am invading Mark Trail and taking over and moving into his house and making and forbidding all the pancake making. Like I don't care. They're just going to be making the pancakes off screen unless there's a valid plot point around pancakes, you guys. Um, and I did this for fun. I did this to also orient the potential Mark Trail readers to who I am,
Hmm.
and doing a Love Jewel. So that's why I did just this little mashup. And again, I just wanted to make it really cute. Because I just used the power of this magical dad sweater in order to take over Mark Trail's farm and but actually show up and make it better.
I don't want to harp too much on this whole like feedback from fans, but we do know that we live in a strange culture where very large production entities, including some big movie studios, there are examples where they basically change plot points and are very timid and cautious with casting choices. And I mean, this is my observation from afar, that they're very afraid of fan backlash. So, um, do you get this from your supervisors at well, whoever is your, I don't even know who's your boss. Does the
Well,
syndication agency
my
or
bosses
New
are
York
the
Times?
editors at King Features Syndicate,
Wow.
and
That looks good on the resume.
I know that sounds really cool, right? Like, I
It
work for
does.
a syndicate. I am the second syndicated Latina artist in the United States. I'm the
Damn.
only one working today.
And you
Okay,
just bumped into me. Thank
I'm
you.
just shoulder checking everyone. That
I want to bump into the second syndicated Latina every day. Yeah, but they're not too worried about
that's what
this, right?
she said. No, well, maybe she said it. I don't know. I'm a little bisexual, aren't we all?
Did they do they are they worried about this fan backlash? I guess not.
This particular fan backlash they anticipated, but they don't really care because they really wanted to update Mark Trail, and always being held hostage to the same three or four old guys never really works out for anyone now, does it?
Right. It really
So,
doesn't. Especially, you know.
yeah, So they like the fact that I'm willing to push boundaries, and they like the fact that I'm coming in with a lot of really fresh ideas. They recruited me partly because I was going to come in and do a lot of really, boundary pushing stuff. Because it's a skill to know when and how to push boundaries in a way that challenges people but doesn't harm people.
Right.
And
Right.
that's a skill that I feel like I've learned how to do, especially doing Love Jules in a way where I can talk about the problem but not necessarily attack the people perpetrating the problem as much.
It's interesting. I mean, actually, I just noticed that we're out of time, but we go over time and then we do our usual post game. We can go a few more minutes for the live stream. We're here with Jules Rivera, and Jules Rivera destroying culture one strip at a time. And
Whee!
this is the Second Life Book Club.
I
Um,
broke it.
Here we have in the gallery some other stuff that I want to go through real quick, and then we'll go into our post game. This is, I guess, from Spectre Deep Six. Is that right?
Oh boy, yes, it is. Let me
That's
see if I
that's a
can
big
get.
deal. That's with Jennifer Brody, who I also met in the physical realm, who is a big deal. How does that work? Quickly, what is Spectre Deep Six all about, and how does it work collaborating with a writer, where you just draw, or you get plot input too?
Oh, I have to do plot input because when it comes to actually creating the pacing of a graphic novel, um, I feel like a lot of novelists who are more used to writing a prose novel, they don't have a lot of experience. So that's where the collaboration aspect with an artist comes in, where an artist will come in and go, okay, if you want to do that scene, it should probably be this many pages and show da 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 da. Like I worked with Jen to put together the script,
Oh my God,
and
hold on one second. I'm standing in front of something else here. This is actually not this is not Spectre Deep Six, this is Balaclava. What is this?
that's Spectre Deep Six. I don't know what
Oh,
you're
it is.
talking about.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry because I only have the advanced copy. I actually have an
Very funny.
I have an advanced copy. Folks don't know this, but let me just tell you that you guys gave me, when I met you in the physical realm, you gave me an advanced copy that had a typo on the cover, and it says
Advanced copy. I'm gonna type it
advanced
in the
copy.
chat. It's funny.
Advanced copy. This is like the
Ad.
Kofefi. This is the Kofefi copy, but advanced. So, yeah. No, but you were making a good point. Novelists like Jennifer is well-known novelist for her own stuff. The what is it called? The 13th Continuum,
Yeah,
and
she's known for her Continuum trilogy, and she also recently been doing the Disney Chills trilogy, or not trilogy. Actually, she's up to like 5 books by now. But she's been doing working on the Disney Chills series under the pen name Vera Strange. She's been keeping busy as far as I know.
your point was that when you work with someone who's very gifted but is a novelist, then how does you can bring a lot to the table because I suppose, I mean, I can imagine that you would, for example, say, wait a minute, this plot point we can do visually.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
you don't have to, I mean, there's a lot of editing going on where you, I guess, cut stuff down quite brutally because you can just have that in a visual that otherwise you need 3-4 pages for.
Well, here's the thing: graphic novels, when it comes to pages, those pages, the real estate is expensive. So you have to know where to cut and jump in a story so that you're telling the story. You're not killing your artist with having to draw 200 pages in 6 months. Like that's insane. Um, it's a juggle. You figure it out.
Is there bad blood sometimes when a writer that is used to or is in love with their prose and you just say, we don't need this. I just write this. I mean, I guess it's the same dynamic between a screenwriter and a director of a movie in a way.
Well, I mean, we have our disagreements, and there are some things that Jen has put in the script that she that I didn't 100% agree with. But I'm sure there's stuff that I put in the script that she didn't 100% love either. I mean, that's kind of how you make a partnership work. You just kind of push and pull, and you let people make their contributions. Really.
Mhm.
It's like I could see how people could let their ego go, no, I want it this way, blah, blah, blah. But sometimes you have to understand that the service of the story is maintaining the peace and the partnership. And sometimes you just let the story go the way your partner's way goes. And it just because you also have to recognize that just because what your partner's decision is different than yours, that doesn't make it a wrong decision. It just means it's a different creative way than you would have chosen. So you have to just learn when to let stuff slide and push your points when you have to. It's
Wow,
it's
Jules,
like
you're
it's
so
like
conciliatory. That's not how I perceived you when we first met. I thought you were just very stubborn, but you were a team player, I
Oh,
guess.
really? That's the secret about me. I have a
That's
Libra
people don't know
rising.
that about
Yeah.
you.
I'm actually a really good team player. All I have to do is be surrounded with the right teammates. That's all. Like Jen and I are good teammates. We work well together. So,
They learned it here on the Second Life Book Club. Now I have to wrap it. We're now looking at at something
oh,
new that's coming, the 200. It's
yes, the cover
coming
for 200. Or actually,
February
that's just a promo poster
2021.
for 200, but I'm really, really
Damn.
proud of 200. It's going to be released in February of 2021. It's an anti-love story, and it's got some fun pandemic imagery, including people in masks and lots of screaming.
Hmm.
Yay!
That's what people need right now. They need exactly the same that they're experiencing in the physical world, in
Yeah,
their
yeah, yeah.
entertainment,
But the
right?
way I do it is covered in flowers and it's very sexy, so it's fine. See, the news didn't make it sexy. I made it sexy. It's a very interesting book. It's about a woman who has aged to the age of 200 in a world where we've defeated death and disease. And
Hmm.
when you get to this age, you are hauled off by government agents to determine if you're eligible to go on as a millennial or if you have to be euthanized. Because at the age of 200, everybody starts losing their minds. So it's all about love, loss. Ava coming to terms with the fact that she's trying to rebuild, reconnect with her husband, who she lost along the way, and it's a really interesting rumination on death and moving on, and when it's time to call something quits.
Awesome.
It's really interesting sci-fi. Also, it's my sexiest book because there's two sex scenes in it, and it's definitely steamy. So
Ah,
yeah, if you
sexy and
want to see if you want to see some very interesting smutty things, that's there. Yep.
because that's normally not in the love, Jules. Okay, we have to wrap it, Jules. This was amazing. We're going to go into the post game until the bottom of the hour,
Cool.
but let me just say here, where's the camera? Here we go. Thank you, wonderful audience. There's a bunch of questions. We're going to ask them. Stella has some very interesting questions, and Elfbiter as well. We're going to ask them in the post game. Thank you, team. Thank you, Strawberry, running the show, producing. Patch, we have governance Linden over here. He's security. He's in the wall on the other side. Big thanks to Silas. Big thanks to Kralos for making the avatars. Big thanks to Arden. He made your earrings. They're not really visible because they're hidden by your hair, but you actually do
Yes.
have the earrings that you have in real life. And
I'm
Arden
really
Schwartzman made them last minute. It's unbelievable. We have
I'm
an amazing team.
I'm really grateful to these. Thank you. It's such a great gift. I saw the preview of it when Drax posted an early post on it on Twitter. I was like, that is so neat. They made my earrings. That's so
Yes.
cool.
We have absolutely nothing else to do, and that's why we do it. And who else did I forget to thank? Arjun, Marianne McCann built this entire gallery.
Thank
Next
you.
week, and I announced this last week wrongly, next week, finally, we have Patricia Murphy. Patricia Murphy writes historical fiction for young adults. She writes fantastical fiction for young adults. I just finished her Chingles of the East, which has a bad guy, and the main bad guy, his name is Sir Dignam Drax. And Sir Dignam Drax in that book has a company called the Drax Universal Media, or DUM. So it's hilarious and
Oh
I love
boy.
it. And it's all about a bad Drax trying to get people off the island. So it is really the retelling of my life, I guess. That's Patricia Murphy next week. Thank you, audience. Stick around for the post game, and I'll see you all next week at 12 o'clock on Wednesday